Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hey, Ed. Hey, what's up with the wacky getup today?
What wacky get up? I'm trying to channel Alan Grant because we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Ed. That movie was like 20, 30 years ago. Why are we talking about that? Nobody likes dinosaurs.
Everybody loves dinosaurs. We're going to be talking about the cast, the special effects, the merchandise, and how they actually created real dinosaurs.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything. Look, we're talking about real dinosaurs. I even made my own dinosaur myself.
Listen, there's no real dinosaurs. It was all special effects. Every time we do this, it's not real. Okay?
I'll go grab it. I'll just hang on. See, I told you I made one. Clever girl.
Nakamama.
Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Halleck.
And welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's your first time here, thanks for joining us. If you're a regular viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And thank you to everyone who is subscribed of late. We're almost at 400 subscribers. And I hate to say, I might have to dig out the unopened Phantom Menace Pepsi bottle and drink that as a toast once we get 400. What do you think, Mitch?
I think if you do that, I have mine, and then we'll do that at 500.
Oh, I like that. At least one of us will be still alive to do that, I think. If you like the show and want to subscribe, how could you do that, Mitch?
Why, Ed, is it's easy as extracting some DNA from a mosquito stuck in ember for millions of years. All you do is press the subscribe button on the little button below or whatever it is, and you'll be subscribed and you'll know when we go on another excellent adventure, and you'll be notified. I think there's a little notify me type of thing. Yeah. And even that, Ed, if they don't want to do that, but they should, they could just like the video, and that helps us get more people to know about our excellent adventures.
Absolutely. And don't forget to put a comment as well. We read and answer all our comments.
All of them.
That's yes. Right. But the tens of comments, no. And you know, if you've got an idea for a show, let us know, because odds are that we'd probably like to do it. But we're obviously doing today, it's a bit hard not to, with my big cinema display from 1993. We're talking about the classic movie Jurassic Park. Did you see this in the cinemas?
I did, Ed. Everybody went to go see it in the cinemas. It was like the biggest movie of all time when it came out, I believe, because it was amazing to see not live, but real dinosaurs on the big screen, like you've never seen them before. No stop animation, no illustrations, no animation. This was groundbreaking technology that brought to life the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park. And it was certainly, I think, a perfect meld with Steven Spielberg, Industrial Light and Magic, John Williams, Michael Crichton. It seemed like this project was destined to be a hit because it just had all those fantastical elements. If you think a bit earlier, 1991, as a huge Steven Spielberg fan, I've ever since Close Encounters, and then I went back to Jaws because I was too young to watch Jaws in the cinema, but I loved his work and followed, and obviously Indiana Jones as we went through it, and I saw everything else. 1991 came along. I was so excited. Hook. And it wasn't. In fact, I still remember, I know this is not about Hook, but I remember seeing that maybe I did see it probably about 3 times in the cinema. And I remember it's quite boring, this film. And I had lost my spark for Steven Spielberg. Oh,
and then,
no.
I know, just a little bit. And then this came along, everyone wanted to make this movie. When the book had come out, basically there was a bidding war for it because all the studios wanted. I think Tim Burton was involved, Joe Dante was interested, Richard Donner was interested in it as well. And it was lucky that Steven Spielberg and Universal Studios paid about $1.5 million for the rights before it was even published.
I was going to say, this movie came about totally different. James Cameron had done the effects for T2, Terminator 2, and the groundbreaking T1000 effects. And I believe was the Abyss before that or whatever.
Yeah, that was 89. Abyss.
So
Terminator 2 was 91.
It was that whole CGI, because this, again, now we say CGI like it's like the weather. It's commonplace. But back then, that was this, groundbreaking technology. No one had ever seen that before, because it was usually done with creatures or things that weren't real. So your brain, knew that was fake, like this liquidy looking Terminator or this Abyss creature. But a dinosaur interacting with other people was kind of pushing the edge of it, because your brain would probably tell you, oh, that's a guy in a suit, or that's a little model about this big like King Kong. So that you no matter what, they were going to have a tough time putting this from the book to the screen because of what was involved with the technology. Because if they had messed this up, as granted as cool the story is about bringing dinosaurs back, but if the effects weren't there, this would not have been a big blockbuster. It would have just been another cool adventure film like Congo, which is another Michael Crichton book that came out years later about a talking gorilla named Amy that had some guys
gorilla, bad gorilla.
Yeah, bad Amy Good Ape, that type of thing. But no, it was all about the CGI. If that didn't work, Spielberg, I mean, he would have been Spielberg from all his previous films, but this one was this, another.
Well, they certainly weren't. Yeah, they certainly weren't actually going in to use computer generated imagery for it. They were going to be using. They were going to have Phil Tippett doing the
Go motion.
Yeah, Go motion, like they used on the
Empire
Strikes Back and things like that.
Well, no, wasn't it the Rancor? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
that
I think
Phil
as well. But they, so with Go motion is essentially, instead of stop animation, you take a frame, then another frame, and then another frame.
Yeah.
With stop motion is it's actually moved, and as the frame is taken, as it's moving, so you get that motion blur and
that blurry effect. That's what. Yeah, that's the secret there.
Nowadays, it's just a filter in After Effects or Premiere, so you just click a button, but it was a lot more involved then. And I know
because that's how your eye would see it. It wouldn't be like, that's the problem with stop motion. As great as Ray Harryhausen is, when you'd watch those sword fights with Sinbad and all that, they were perfect. They were like every little detail was in the skeleton, and nothing ever, because it's a photograph. It's a still photograph, one after another, like an animated cartoon. But your brain knows that. It's like there's, if we're doing this, you don't see the detail. But if I was like that, that's what they did. And what Go motion does, it adds that blur effect to it, so you perceive it as being more realistic, even though it's a giant dinosaur that's not real.
That's right. So, or real, or looks real. I mean, so what they did is they did some tests, some computer generated tests. Spielberg was blown out of the water with the quality of it. Because again, he did approach, I believe, the person who created the animatronics for the King Kong ride at Universal, because he thought, well, we can maybe make full size versions of these dinosaurs. And of course that didn't come to pass, and what they decided to do was a combination of traditional special effects and compositing and animatronics from the amazing Stan Winston Studios, and then that groundbreaking computer generated effects. And it's funny, in a 2 hour and maybe 20-minute movie, I think the dinosaurs are actually on for only about 15 minutes.
I was going to say 11 minutes. It's not very long.
No. And of those, the majority of them are the animatronic ones. So if you see like a close up or part of a dinosaur, then it is
like the raptors and all. Yeah, that's the puppets. Well, the big scale Stan Winston.
They did. Steven Spielberg cited that he was a fan of Godzilla King of Monsters. and wanted something like that, they actually used for some of the velociraptors people in suits. They used a whole combination of things. But when I remember, and we're sort of jumping all over the shop, so
yeah. That's what we.
I think when everyone I know went to see Jurassic Park, I mean, you think of moments in cinema that blew you away. So for most, it was, Star Wars, the opening crawl. There might be some others, maybe Terminator,
Blade Runner, maybe.
Yeah, yes, I think so. Some of those Doug Trumbull effects and things like that. And then Jurassic Park, because that opening shot is absolutely amazing when you first see those dinosaurs, and it's again sold by the actors.
I was gonna say, a lot of that is people's reactions to those things, because again, they don't know what it's gonna look like because there's nothing there. There's like, what do they say, a tennis ball usually on a stick for your eye line, which is how we do this show. Most people don't know that. You're not there at all. I'm looking at a little tennis ball, but no, that's what it is. You've got to emote. You've got to have fear, awe, shock, enjoy, all that from a tennis ball. And, all credit to Laura Dern and Sam Neill for pulling that off, and Jeff Goldblum, because they really sell it a lot. Because it's just with anything, you know it too. We've watched enough science fiction movies and fantasy films that you can see some actors get it, some actors don't. And, no offense to their abilities, but sometimes it's very hard. Phantom Menace, Natalie Portman. But I'm just saying, it's hard for them to act when there's nothing to act against. It's just literally a green screen or blue screen, whatever you want to call it. There's just nothing on the set. So, I mean,
and I think
that's a different type of that. It's a different type of filmmaking that some people are easy to do and some people are, trouble.
And I think that's why the animatronics work so well, and everything that they have done is, it's so cleverly planned out. This is I think this was Steven Spielberg's first film that was all totally storyboarded before they
really
went in.
Not Raiders.
I know Raiders had some, a lot of storyboards, but I know that this was done all, prior to principal photography. And I think it's because, the effects still hold up. This came out in 1993. The visual effects still hold up to this day. They do. Because of clever clever filmmaking. When you use a practical effect, lighting, I still to this day can't tell that scene with the T-Rex and it, like my little model set down here,
right,
T-Rex and the Jeep or the car. I had no idea that a lot of that was computer generated.
Right,
car upside down.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of that particular scene that you're talking about, we went in 2010. My wife and my sons, we went to ILM out in California where they did the effects for Jurassic Park. So we got a tour of the facility by this nice guy named Chris Argelopoulos. That's a name for you. And I think he's still there as well. But we went for a tour of ILM. So we're walking through the Presidio where they do all the special effects. And under glass, a display glass, they have a replica, or not the replica, they have the truck, which is about the size of that toy behind you with the T-Rex there. And I was like, is this a model? Is this, just for a show? Like, the stuff we have back here? No, that was the actual model from the movie. So then I was just like you, I was taken back. I'm like, wait a second, how many different elements are in that shot? Because you have the CGI of the dinosaur, the T-Rex running down the street in the rain. You have the close-up of the eyeball, the iris opening and closing. That's a Stan Winston effect.
Yes.
And it's smashing into the car. That's a puppet. That's a big, large-scale puppet. And then the truck, when it's on its back, I think it gets flipped over and it spins around. That's a model that's literally about 18 inches or 12 inches behind you there. And they had a little model of the T-Rex dinosaur that they used to do that there. So there's about every practical or every effect you could think of going on in that little sequence there. CGI, practical effect, models, and all that. So yeah, it's very seamless. I'll give them that. I mean, it's hard to tell what's happening, what and where, because it's done so well. You just get caught up. You're not taken back and go, oh, look, that's the fake shark. That's the, that type of thing. With Jaws, that happens a lot, where you can kind of see where, they got the robot shark, and then they got the close up of it and all that. But Jurassic Park is flawless when it comes to doing that. I'm going to say the only time it takes you out a bit, and it might just be me, is when they first see, when I was a kid, they call them brontosauruses, but they changed the name over the years to
like the Brachiosaurus.
Brachiosaurus. Yeah, when they first see them and they're eating the top of the palm trees or whatever, they're eating the leaves there. There's a weird light, like sunlight type of thing that happens there. It's like you can see the plate of the real footage they filmed in Hawaii.
Yes.
But the dinosaur has a little weird depth thing going on where it doesn't look like it's like really there. Like, it's like if I hold this cup up, you can see how the light wraps around it.
Yes.
It's kind of flat looking. I'm not saying it's a bad effect, but I'm saying that's the only one of the original Jurassic Park that causes me to pause a bit, because you can see that the lighting just doesn't seem right. But again, how am I going to know what this really looks like? It's not like I open the door and see a dinosaur outside eating a tree. So, I don't know why I'm so critical about it, but I do always remember the first time I saw that, I was like, well, you could see that's not, I know it's not there, but that one really stood out to me. But the rest of the movie does it. That's the one little critique I have about Jurassic Park. It might have just been a bad projection bulb at the theater or something. You never noticed that?
No, I do remember when they were all in the tree and you had the Vegisauruses all coming up,
sneeze on the girl.
Sneezes, on I think it's Alex and
Alex, yeah.
And then that looks a little stagey, but at
wonky,
that point, it's nice because that's after that whole introduction to the T-Rex where the car falls down, and a wonderful sequence. So it's sort of nice just to have a bit of a break after that.
Well, did you read the book at all? Did you read the Jurassic
Park? I didn't. It's funny. I didn't bring the book. There's lots of merchandise there was, but I did have the novel, and of course, Michael Crichton was paid to also not only for the rights for the book, but also to write the screenplay. So he wrote the first screenplay, and then of course there's a lot of stuff in the book that they excised eventually. A lot of the violence and characters and
well, the main character, what's his name? The old man that runs the park.
Hammond.
Hammond. Yeah, he's a real jerk in the book. I mean, he doesn't give a crap. He's like, those are his grandkids, but I can't remember the page, but there's a scene in the book where he doesn't really seem to care that much that they're in danger of being killed or eaten. He's more worried about the park, the money he's going to make on the thrill ride, the adventure park, whatever you're talking about. So the fact that he's got collateral damage with his grandkids is really not keeping him up at night. He's more worried about how to fix this PR nightmare.
Yeah, well, Steven Spielberg liked the idea of the friendly, like the grandfather who was a Walt Disney type, who was doing this for had the best intentions. So they changed that. Right. They got David Koepp, who had just come off
The Shadow.
Becomes Her. He did do that. He did The Shadow. He did Death Becomes Her. He did Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He did.
Well, no, that's seriously. But you know what's funny? I wonder if Robert Zemeckis did a pass at this movie, because he had just done Roger Rabbit, or actually did Forrest Gump at that point. But there was a lot of actors working with
Robert Zemeckis did do Death Becomes Her, and that's what David Koepp had just worked on.
No, but I'm saying special effect. I wonder if he even made a pass at putting this together, Jurassic Park.
I don't know if he look. It would seem like his sort of film as well, wouldn't it? There was
special effects
around that time. So David Koepp came in and sort of excised a few things. Steven Spielberg came up with the idea because there was a lot of exposition and a lot of science in the book.
Yeah.
And actually, Kelly and I just watched The Andromeda Strain from 1971.
Oh yeah,
which was written by Michael Crichton, which is a fantastic film.
It is. That was
and very, especially given today's climate
nowadays. Yeah,
I know. But looking at all the science in there, so Spielberg said, "Well, look, can we come up with that with like a Disneyland style ride introduction?" And that's
with the animation
with Mr. DNA. But let's talk a little bit about the cast.
Well, real quick, a little behind the scenes stories you might not know. The graphic behind you with the
Yes.
dinosaur silhouetted, that's created by a graphic designer artist named Chip Kidd, Kidd. I know that because he's also involved with comic books, and he was going to be a guest at my show about 4 years ago. And one of the behind the scenes stories is he only got paid for designing the dust jacket or the cover of the book, which is white with the silhouette of the T-Rex back there.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get paid for all the subsequent movie posters, the T-shirts, the logo design that they use. So that image is almost iconic as the Batman logo is really, because everyone sees it, they go, "Oh, Jurassic Park." So that's he got paid his fee for designing the book cover, but that's it. And they went on to use that imagery for so many years now. What is it, 30 years? Everybody knows that logo. You go to Universal Studios, that thing's on every sippy cup, every bubblegum wrap or whatever it is. So Chip Kidd, if he's watching,
okay,
we know you did it. I know you did. We salute you, Mr. Kidd. You should have got more money for that. But that was one of the subtle things, because he didn't do movie rights. He just did a book rights for it, and they didn't pay him. And the same thing about Michael Crichton. If I recall, he wrote this more as a screenplay rather than a novel, if I'm not mistaken, thinking that it would sell. So they've said sometimes if you read the book, it's kind of written in almost a screenplay, act 1, act 2, act 3, almost like he's preparing it for a big screen production. So
look, that guy
definitely so with this. What?
A long time since I've read it, but I remember
reading. Well, I remember The Lost World was like that. The sequel to it, The Lost World, read just like a script. It was like, wow, this guy's not even trying to hide it as a novel or a piece of fiction. It's just like, this is a movie script. This is just waiting for the cameras to roll on this one. But anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say about the cast. I think what works for me is sometimes in these big budget, summer tentpole blockbusters, they have too many big name actors, and I feel that detracts from it's very not a lot of actors can totally disappear into the character where you forget that they're Tom Cruise or Harrison Ford or things like that. So I think it worked for me that the cast was not unknowns, but weren't high profile, maybe A-list performers. I mean, I assume for you, Sam Neill wouldn't have been a household name. He was.
Oh, actually, no, you're quite wrong, sir. Riley, Ace of Spies. I watched that in the early '80s. It was on PBS out here. I thought it was a BBC production. Maybe it was an Australian production. But anyway, Riley, Ace of Spies. I read it had to be 81 or 82. That came on. It was like 6 parts, maybe 10 parts. I can't remember, but it was all based on a real life spy for the British after World War I. And it's all about what happened behind the scenes after the war and how they carved up the Middle East for oil. And he was a real guy. Can't remember his first name, something Riley. And that was Sam Neill who played the character. And I think I read either John le Carre based his character of George Smiley, or James Bond, or Ian Fleming based James Bond on the real Riley, Ace of Spies. Was it Michael Riley? No, Michael Riley's a different show. But whatever. No, that's how I knew Sam Neill. And then it was, he was the kid in Omen 3, the grown-up devil.
That's right, yes.
That area. But no, I knew Sam Neill from that years before. And I always thought he was a great actor. I can't remember if he was in anything prior to that. That was, he was in Hunt for Red October. Yeah, so I saw him in there too. And I go, that's the guy. So when this came about, I thought, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I had heard that Spielberg offered it to Harrison Ford to be Alan Grant. He said, I don't want to wear another hat in a movie like this. So that's what I heard, that he turned down the role because he didn't want to be the fedora again.
Yeah, from what I heard, he just thought he wasn't right for the role. And I agree.
I think he would have been okay, but he would have brought
he's more of an
Indiana Jones
action hero, whereas Sam Neill's a little bit more
scholarly, more
I think. And so I thought he worked really well. You had Laura Dern as Ellie Sattler. They worked really well together, and of course Jeff Goldblum
from 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. Hello.
I was going to say from Thank God It's Friday. Hello.
Well, I was going to say Earth Girls Are Easy. I think he's in that movie.
I was going to say Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Hello.
I was going to say The Fly.
Yeah.
Or even better, he's in another. A Buckaroo Banzai. Hello.
Yeah, of course. Well,
Jeff Goldblum. He plays New Jersey.
He does. We
can just go about the Jeff Goldblum greatest hits. The Right Stuff. Hello, Jeff Goldblum.
In a little with Harry Shearer as the two like they always run.
No one does a better stutter performance other than Jimmy Stewart than Jeff Goldblum.
True. That's true. So he's playing Ian Malcolm, the chaos theorist.
Right.
And of course we have John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough. And
Sir Richard Attenborough to you, buddy. Sir Richard.
Sorry,
just
Sir
saying.
Richard.
They get all caught up on that stuff.
So they're the main players, BD Wong, and there was a few others in there.
That's right, it is BD Wong. That's right. I forgot BD Wong. And Samuel L. Jackson. Hello.
Yes.
He's in the movie.
Yeah, he is. But
Wayne Knight. Wayne Knight.
Yes. Wayne Knight.
And don't forget the best one, the guy from Miami Vice, who was the lawyer who gets eaten when he's in the toilet.
Gennaro.
That's the guy when it was, oh my God, there was two guys on Miami Vice. The Noog Man, Noogie, and then the other guy had the glasses and the swept back hair and was always bothering Sonny Crockett in Tubbs. That's the guy.
I was never a Miami Vice guy. So
well, I knew him from Miami Vice. He was always on that show. He was always involved in some type of scheme. Izzy was his name.
Was he the Huggy Bear of
He was the Huggy Bear.
Okay.
They had two characters on Miami Vice. They had a guy named the Noog Man, Noogie, who I don't know what happened off screen. He passed away from AIDS in the 80s, I believe it was. But there was another character, a Cuban hustler named Izzy, and he would come on there all the time. He's like, "Oh, what do you want?" Every week he had a different scheme he was up to, and he was the guy that was the lawyer who, just gets eaten like I did in the earlier part of our show.
Yes. We're really not focusing on The Lost, which I quite liked. Directed by Steven Spielberg again. I quite liked The Lost.
I like number 2 as well. There was a scene, and I think it got criticized when the boat comes to, was it San Diego port?
Yes.
Is that the harbor? And there's a scene where the dinosaur is loose on the streets, and the people are running down the street, and they're looking behind them as the dinosaur is coming, and it's very similar to a Godzilla movie. And I got the joke, like, oh, it's supposed to be a takeoff of those old Godzilla films.
Yes.
But I think Spielberg got a little backlash from folks saying, hey, what are you doing here?
I thought that was pretty funny.
I laughed in the theater.
I don't
I'm
think
sorry.
it was offensive. I thought it was.
I know I had heard. I mean, well, nowadays everything's offensive, but I'm just saying.
What I felt was in that.
I didn't. Go ahead.
The two the two T-Rexes come, and then the RVs hanging down, and the poor guy who's trying to connect everything up, and then it's slipping and all that, and then he ends up getting eaten. And I just go, oh.
I'll tell you what. Hard. Before we forget Jurassic Park, we'll do a quick review. Some of the best scenes, besides the dinosaur special effects, but the pacing and the editing that only can come from a Spielberg movie. When the Jeep is hanging off the side of the cliff, that's a Spielberg thing. That's like, oh God, edge of your seat. Are they going to make it type of thing? That's a great scene. The raptors coming after them in that was the kitchen. I think they were on the kitchen, and they were like the breath hitting the door, the steaming. It's like Jaws
and
coming after
the door. Yes,
and it's opening the door when you say you can't open a door handle, and you see the door handle open. That's such a horror movie type stuff that Spielberg just nails there. That movie is really like a lot of haunted house stuff going on there in Jurassic Park. And then the big fight at the end with the dinosaur and the banner falling down. And
it's a beautifully framed shot.
Oh yeah. Like it says the age of the dinosaurs, and
when
it falls
dinosaurs
and
ruled the earth.
Yeah, and then at the very end, they kind of set it up where they're like, "Oh, is this all over?" They show a shot of birds flying over the ocean as they escape Jurassic Park. I never liked the ending of it. I can't recommend your island or something like that. Oh, okay. Oh, geez, we just cost millions of dollars in damage. We killed God knows how many people, and it's like, Okay, you bad person, you. So Lost World, the sequel, opens up with Jeff Goldblum's character. Isn't there that he's passed away or he's dying? Attenborough's character.
He's still around. He's still
Yeah,
alive.
and the two kids are in there, but very briefly.
Can we go back to Jurassic Park? Because I've got to say,
Go ahead.
It was filmed in Hawaii.
It was
at
Go ahead.
Kualoa Ranch, and I'm going to put up some pictures because you get to go on the movie tour ride.
Yes,
there.
you do. Yes,
and I was there with Kelly, and I've got some pictures of me being attacked by a dinosaur and us at the log where the Gallimimus were,
yes,
do all that. And it's if you're lucky enough to go to Hawaii, do the Kualoa Ranch tour, the extended tour. It's wonderful, and you just feel. We went also to the sets for Jurassic World. They had a lot of those sets there that you could go to, the Abdominus Rex enclosure and things like that. It's fantastic. So if you're
I got married in June 1993, and we went on our honeymoon in Hawaii, in Maui, and all those places. We went on a helicopter ride when we were there. It's I think it's Blue Hawaiian. I think that was the name of the place. The pilot was the pilot who does the shot of the waterfall. I know this because I should go dig up my video of it. We went to that giant 80-foot waterfall that's in the beginning of Jurassic Park. Our helicopter guy took us on a descent. We went right along that water's edge to that same shot. So we landed right where the Jurassic Park does. And then he went back up in the air. That was something. We went through the whole jungle area where they filmed a lot of the big vista shots, the big widescreen shots as they go over and stuff. But I'm gonna say Blue Dolphin helicopters ride. But hey, if I find the footage, we can do that. But that was cool too, because they showed, like you said, we went there, but then we saw the fields where Sam Neill, they ran. Obviously, they put the dinosaurs in later. It was the fields there. I thought that was Kauai because we were in Maui.
No, that's Oahu. So that's Kualoa Ranch. So that's where we.
Okay, you were there, but I swear we were at some other part.
They did film in multiple places.
Okay, because there was a big long field.
Islands.
Yeah. There was a big field, and we went over it, and he was telling us like what scenes were filmed because the movie had just come out. We were like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. But yeah, Hawaii's great. I mean, all the Jurassic, but there was a huge hurricane came during the production of '92. They had to get out of there, if I recall.
Yes, yeah, I think it destroyed some sets and things like that.
Yeah. It was like a rare Pacific hurricane that hit the crowd there. But anyway, that's neither here. Back to Lost World. Lost World, I think it's not a great movie. It's an enjoyable movie. It's fun. It's better than 3. It's better than Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
There's a sequence with the high grass when they're like walking through it. I think the raptors are in that. You don't know where they are, and they're trying to cut through. That's a very tense moment. The daughter doing the flips was a bit much.
I think because they never can disguise the bars very well.
Yes,
they just put some line around it.
That's the part I'm talking about when she's doing the flips like a gymnast or something. I was like, that doesn't look realistic. Not that it's real. None of it's real, but it detracted. I just went,
yes,
that's a stunt. I can see that.
And of course, they had Spielberg wanted to direct the second one, but
he did direct the second one.
Yeah, he did, but he said Joe Johnston was interested in directing one of them, and Spielberg said, "Well, if we do a third one, you can direct that."
Is that how Johnston got the third?
Yeah, and he directed the third one. And it has its moments, but I like elements of it. But
it's because of that number 2 that when they did Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, originally Lucas had written Indy to have a daughter, not a son. And the reason why it got turned into Mutt Williams, aka Shia LaBeouf, is because Spielberg said, I just did a movie where the hero had a daughter.
Yeah.
And that was Lost World. He was talking about Jeff Goldblum's daughter in the movie. Yeah. So that's why they changed Mutt into his son instead of being his daughter.
And of course, we've got the latest iterations, which $1 billion franchise. Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, and then they've
Well,
got
well, did
Dominion
Jurassic
coming
go
out.
back to did Lost World make a lot of money? I think it was like number 1 or 2 or 3
It did
number.
pretty well. Well, obviously Jurassic Park was huge.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
They re-released it on the 10th anniversary in 3D, and I've got the 3D version.
Oh really?
And it's pretty. It looks pretty amazing in 3D.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
2003.
I think it was 2003. They did the 3D version, or was it the 20th? Maybe it was the 20th anniversary. Sorry, that they did that.
You know what? It would have been nice to see in IMAX.
Oh yes.
Of course, they didn't film it like that back then.
No,
but I'm just saying.
I mean they've done versions where I've seen it with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, which is amazing. Of course, you've got that wonderful John Williams score. I had to triple check my research, but I can't believe that John Williams was not nominated for an Academy Award.
Oh, really?
Jurassic Park score.
You know what's so funny when you go to Universal Studios in Hawaii, I don't know, Orlando and Los Angeles. Well, I know in Orlando because I was just there last year. Yeah, last year. That music is blaring everywhere. Yes. When you walk into the Jurassic Park area, and like, oh, I get it. Because that's like their Star Wars theme. It's everywhere in that park. And that ride is great too. The Jurassic Park ride. It's a big water. They made a newer version. They enhanced it and made it more of the Lost World too.
Oh, okay. I really enjoyed that. That's really good. And of course, with the film coming out, it won 3 Academy Awards for sound, visual effects, and visual effects editing. And of course, there's merchandise. And I've got some.
Oh yeah. Well, you talked about the third movie. The third movie did not do so well.
No, it did okay, but
but it wasn't a blockbuster. No, it was like, I don't know. It's okay. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie either.
So the thing, it really ignited a passion again for dinosaurs and
stuff.
paleontology, and rightly so. I think
there was comic books.
Every kid loves. I've got my guide to Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
Topps trading cards came out with a bunch of comic books based on the Jurassic Park. It's a really good book. There's the trading cards, right? They had
everything's for sale.
George Perez and Gil Kane were 2 classic comic book artists. They did the Jurassic Park. It was like a sequel to the movie. So it's a comic book. So if you never read that, there's even another spin-off of what happens on the island. Because there was 2 islands. Remember, there was the main island,
Site A and Site B.
Isla
Nublar and Isla Sonia,
right?
I think.
Right.
So, you had storybooks. I've got
toys. There was a pile of toys besides what you have there. There was all the characters too. They did the Alan.
Oh, we've got this. This is from 1993.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they would scream. They all have but there was a big scandal going on because there was a lot of bootleg toys.
Yes.
And if they didn't have the JP logo, that meant they weren't the official. I remember that going all over the news. Like all these guys were making dinosaurs and trying to sell them as Jurassic Park toys, but you had to get the JP logo
right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's Jurassic Park logo. Yeah.
His batteries are a bit flat from 1993.
No, but those were cool because they had like real dino skin. Yes. They would sell it as that, and you could have chunks of meat coming out of the so you could see the rib cage underneath and the bloody body parts and stuff.
And one thing I'll just quickly go back to when we were at Universal Studios. Gosh, I can't even remember when this was. Maybe 2005. They had this going on. I'll just put it up here if you can see it.
What's that?
But, I'll see if that can get in. It's the Triceratops encounter.
Yeah.
And Kelly and I went in there, and it's just basically you go in, and there was a life-size Triceratops. It was sick.
Right. Yeah.
And you could go in. So Kelly and
I went into the poop, right?
Yeah. And went, oh no, well, this is when Kelly, so it was sick. So it basically went and it sneezed on Kelly, the Triceratops. We were absolutely amazed. Now we're Disney people, but this was absolutely.
Is that in Orlando or is that in the California? I don't remember.
I think that was in Orlando.
Really?
And I'll have to confirm.
Is that where the pterodactyl thing was? Because I remember my boys were little and they had like this little thing above you that you could be like a little harness that you put on. And
I think it
you
was
go,
there. I think
yeah, it was like a little what's the word I'm looking for? A little rope zip line type of thing. You go around at top. Yeah, yeah.
So we went there, and I know that the handler, the dinosaur handler, she said, because we bought in, like we were 100%. This was like, whereas everyone else is going, oh, whatever. And she said, look, can you come back and see me afterwards? There was like the Jurassic Park Center where you could watch dinosaurs being hatched and things like that. And we went back there, and she goes, you two are the most you have had such a sense of wonder that we don't see that with guests anymore. They just go in and they're jaded. And she gave us t-shirts. She gave us, it was it was like we had really seen.
No, it is what it, because look, I always think of that too when you take the kids there and you got the guys dressed as the characters and they're Spider-Man or they're Captain America or whatever, or Disney characters. They're there. I mean, we all know it's part of the magic, wink, wink, but it's not going to kill you to get like a little kid again and get into it, because the little kids see that. And if they see the parents rolling their eyes or like, oh, look how lame this guy is, or, look at this guy's job. How stupid is that to wear that rubber suit all day? To a little kid, it's real.
Yep.
And you're right. If you invest your imagination into it and you play along, what's it going to hurt? It's part of the show. That's all it is. And it's only for a couple minutes to engage in the wonder of it all. Imagine if it was real. Imagine if there were real dinosaurs. Would you walk around like, yeah, big deal. I saw the Brontosaurus last week over in SeaWorld. No big deal there. That one jumped through a ring of fire. What's yours do? People are so jaded nowadays. If they had that in the 80s, I think we would have been more amazed by it. I think we've come accustomed to too much special effects in our everyday life now. You just like, whatever.
It was amazing, and it made us feel like we had interacted with a real dinosaur. Really cool. So there's lots of stuff about Jurassic Park if you're a collector.
Oh, then there's the sequels that came out, the Jurassic World.
There's the cartoon series as well.
Yeah, I see that on Netflix. I've never watched them. There's a bunch there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's obviously the new movie coming out that they've just wrapped called Dominion, which is going to be.
Yeah, what is up with that? I thought they finished that last year.
I think they were filming in Hawaii, and I think they had a few COVID breaks.
Oh, okay. So well, you know how I know it's got messed up? The toys are like all over the place. Like last year, because of COVID, everything was off schedule, but they had shipped the toys. So the movie must have been planned for a 2020 release, but the merchandise was on the shelves. And now I go out
of that with like the King Kong.
And the Godzilla, King Kong,
all out. The Wonder Woman 84, all stuff was.
Oh yeah, I saw Dune toys were on the shelves months ago, and that movie's not till like November maybe of this year. But Jurassic World stuff is on the shelves here at Target and Walmart, and I'm just like, I don't know when this movie's coming out. You think it's next year? You think it's 2022?
I think it's 2022. Yes. So, in fact, I think it's something like June or July. It's not too far.
Well, there's a lot in July.
Indiana Jones
is July 29th.
Now, was I thinking that it's July 10th?
That's Black Panther 2.
Then maybe it's June.
I don't think they would put two big franchises against each other. Yeah.
So
we'll see.
But yeah, lots to collect if you're a collector. Some of that vintage stuff is worth a lot of money. It's crazy.
Really?
This is the Alan Grant. One thing that they never did, like their likenesses were pretty horrendous on these films.
Yeah.
Their Ian Malcolm, they didn't make a little the Ariana Richards character.
Well, they just did, of course, Funko Pops. You always have to have a Funko Pop of everything.
Yes.
I remember they made a Jeff Goldblum where he's like laying seductively on a couch or something. It's supposed to be like,
they've done that. They've done also re-releases, or not re-releases, like classic versions. So you've got Hammond, you've got Ian Malcolm that are a lot more photo real, and things like that. But for when it comes to dinosaur films, the original is the best. Jurassic Park is pretty amazing. It's they've just released recently a 4K
Yeah,
version of
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
it looks.
What
pretty-
about that board
pretty
game
electric,
behind
right?
you? What's the point of that board game?
So basically, you've got to make your way to. Hang on, I'll grab it out. Oh, here
Does it have a dinosaur in it?
it does. In fact,
Oh, look at that.
It's got lots of 3D dinosaurs. You got to make your way through.
Nice.
It's got a 3D version of
The island.
the visitors center that you have to get to and everything.
Nice.
Like that. So
Now, is something like that on sale?
not anymore. But all this is for sale. This is for sale at our shop.
Come
Once
on
we get out
down
of
to
lockdown.
Crazy Eddie's.
I know.
That was a thing here in the
Even-
United
yeah,
States.
Even that, my sister, I've got to thank my sister. She got this. This was in our local cinema in 1993.
That's huge. What is that, like
it is.
feet?
It's well, it is. I can.
Oh my. Look at that. There you go.
Yeah.
Ed is not for sale if you buy that though.
That's right.
But shipping that,
I'm available for in
kids parties, bar
appearances.
mitzvahs, yeah, things like that.
That's right. That's
So
right.
so okay, and that comes apart. And you can also buy that. Come to Mitch and Ed's clearance sale. Everything's got to go.
That's
Come on
right.
down.
Just down from Spatula City. So, hello, and Lois is joining us as well. So that's
The
good.
cat is not for sale. By
No,
the way.
not for sale. So that's it. That's a look at Jurassic Park. We missed lots. We probably did, but that's okay. Go investigate a little bit more. Go watch the film. It's fantastic. Listen to that amazing John Williams score. Enjoy those amazing the late great Stan Winston and Industrial Light and Magic visual effects, and you'll be taking away. And I do think this episode was close to 65 million years in the making, because we were trying to get it for 30 minutes, but we haven't made it.
You've got 5 movies you're trying to cover, plus a TV show. It's hard to do that.
I know. I didn't realize we were talking about the other one, so that's all right.
Well,
That's
no,
okay.
that when I thought we were doing the entire legacy.
That's okay. That's all
A
right.
little behind. Well, whatever. Behind the scenes.
It doesn't matter. So if you like this show, or you like what we're talking about, how can you like us even more?
Well, it's as easy as putting your hand in a giant pile of Triceratops poop, Ed. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button below, and you will be subscribed and make Ed drink a bottle of 20-year-old soda. Do this in memory of Ed.
Thank you. That's
Now,
how
now we're
how
doing
some,
it. We're
how
doing a
some
math.
people describe our show by putting. It's like putting your hand into
A giant steaming hill full of hot dinosaur poop.
That's a big pile of. Anyway,
That's a big
all right.
pile. Well, I had a big lunch today. Let me tell you.
All right. So that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us so much. This is Ed Dollister,
This is Mitch Halleck.
and we'll see you next time on Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. Take care, everybody.